And here I am here. We have some great views of the pad today with our two remote cameras. We're going to attempt to automatically track one of them, something we've never tried before. So we'll give that a shot, and I'll try to manually track one. And Ken will also be trying to shoot it with his camera. So we have a couple different views that are going to be happening during the launch. Not sure which one we'll settle on. We may have the double boxes up with both cameras that are remotes, and we'll see what happens.
I can guarantee you, I always wait for LD there. I can guarantee you that my shot will be much shakier than the two remote ones.
Well, we'll see. That remains to be seen.
It's sitting on one leg and not three.
That remains to be seen. We've never tried this before, so we're doing a lot of firsts here. This is, we like to cover Wallops. It is a drivable distance for us on a regular basis. It is fairly...
Can you provide status of full helium bottom supply pressure? Stand by, we're still evaluating.
Okay, so that call out wasn't good.
Yeah, my heart just stopped for a second.
Go ahead. Yeah, step 396 complete.
So the stage one group, we heard something earlier in the count about something with the main engines, and apparently they're working on what's called the anomaly 2 loop. We'll proceed along with the count just like they are. In the meantime, let's go to a video talking about the naming of this craft. This is named after Sally Ride, the shuttle air astronaut, and there's some great stories in here about what Sally meant to the space program and why the Cygnus spacecraft was named after Dr. Sally Ride.
As Heidi mentioned, we are just incredibly excited. It's a tradition at Northrop to name each mission after someone that's really made a huge contribution to human spaceflight and exploration, and this mission will be named after Dr. Sally Ride, as you've all heard. Sally was really a true space pioneer and also a tireless advocate for improving STEM literacy for children, especially young girls. And I'm just going to give a quick overview. She had such a storied career, but I'll just hit some highlights. In 1978, Dr. Ride became one of 38 astronaut candidates selected from more than 8,000 folks to join NASA astronaut cadre number 8. She served as the first female Capcom, the astronaut that talks to the astronauts' orbit in their spacecraft, another first for her again. In 1983, she flew on SDS-7, the Space Shuttle Challenger's second mission, and then she flew in 1984 on the SDS-41G mission. After retirement, Dr. Ride and her partner Tam O'Shaughnessy founded the Sally Ride Science Foundation, a nonprofit aimed at improving STEM literacy for children. And she's really been an inspiration for millions. And I'll just share a quick story. When we announced the naming, I actually was in the room with Joel down at Johnson Space Center, and there were a number of senior female engineers, deputy program manager, other folks in the room, and to see their faces when we announced it, number one, and then they shared stories about when they were growing up that they had posters of Dr. Ride in their bedrooms as an inspiration. So just to see how that resonated with the team, number one, and to show the enormous amount of respect at the professional level and all the people she inspired is really a great testament to her legacy.
And apparently none of our scintillating conversation was heard in the first group because we weren't coming through, apparently. Maybe we're still not. Nope. There we go. Maybe they were hearing us through the 4K webcam.
At this point, so long as they hear us.
Yeah. I'm there with you on that one. Yeah, we may have had some early technical difficulties. Is the master turned up a little bit?
You know what? If
Admin,
this
LC on
is
countdown 1.
the technical difficulty this round, I'll be
Admin on
very
countdown
happy
1.
with that.
Yeah, I'd like to buy us Stand by. Yeah, I'd like to give us a little bit more time to execute these engine priming steps. I'd like to issue hold number 0 at L minus 11 minutes. Hold CDT at 10:16:43. Resume CDT at 10:21:42.
We're going for the end of the window.
Copy that, LC.
Mm-hmm.
And NASA TD, LC on countdown 1.
Go for TD.
Yeah, TD, we're going to hold the countdown clock at L minus 11, CDT 10:16:43, resume at 10:21:42.
Resume at 10:21:42.
That's a good copy.
That's a fairly important count. They're working an issue with the helium tanks, it sounded like.
And that hold comes just before the 10-minute all-no-go
And
Yeah.
sequence
LC
that they go
confirmed
through.
new T0 is 10:32:42.
Generally, unless you have something really diabolical happen.
So
That's
32:42,
right, 10:32:42 is our new T0.
that would be at the end of the window.
Right, it's a 5-minute
And
window
LD, do
today.
you copy? Say again, LC. Do you copy the new T0?
Yes, I copied. Thank you. Can I get flight assurance and safety and GSO on Anomaly 1?
Uh-oh.
I think he wants to make sure that workaround that they have for this is good. So they're pulling off to a side channel. Well, we won't hear any of the discussion happening on that. But apparently, obviously this stuff is important. You don't want to lose a payload. You don't want to lose. You want to make sure the rocket is properly configured for flight. And you want to make sure the whole point is getting to orbit and getting this to the ISS. So they're going to take every precaution, even up and including another scrub.
And
They will get it till it's right.
It'll go up eventually because the supplies do have to get up to the ISS. And mentioning the payload, we're able to load
LC,
this
prop
module.
lead, step 397. Actual F1 level is 11 out of 11. And prop 2 is monitoring 398.
You're able to
Copy
load
that,
this
prop
module
lead,
up.
check step 397. And 398 pending.
So they will be calling a hold at the just shy of the T-minus 10
Core
minute
1, your
mark.
go for step 399.
And what that means is they will be adding 5
Copy, LC,
minutes
and work.
to the count as a hold. And the new T0, instead of 5:27 a.m., will be 5:32 a.m.
And that
and
is
40
the,
seconds.
That's the end of the window.
Right. Yeah, that's the last shot that they have. So what they explained it was is the window is 2.5 minutes on either side of the optimal shoot point, the optimal launch point for fuel and space station passover and things like that. So 2.5 minutes early, they can still do it. 2.5 minutes late, they can still do it past that optimal point. So that is the 5-minute window that they come up with the orbital mechanics. And we are going to shoot for the very end of the 5-minute window due to, it sounds like the helium bottle pressure.
LC Core 1, countdown 1.
Go ahead, Core 1.
Step 399, fuel adjustment is not required.
Copy that, Core 1.
So what happens is
And prop 2, arm OCCS for no adjustment to fuel level.
to keep the structure of the rocket in flight as the fuel gets expended out of the
And
tanks.
LC prop 2, OCCS, ACDC is orbed.
ACDC confirmed.
It is replaced with gaseous
And
helium.
Prop 2, OCCS configured for no adjustment to the fuel level.
So the gaseous helium keeps the rocket so it doesn't crumple in upon itself, basically, so it doesn't implode. As the fuel is being expended, it creates a void.
It keeps it pressurized.
Correct. That's what it does. So if you're in the area, let's take a look at the launch angles and viewing area. So we'll take a look at this in real time. Plus 30, you're going to see it. It's going to go southeast from the launch pad. We're a little bit early. We're a little bit early on the light effects, so we
And
may
launch
not get
team,
the.
step 403 is not required.
LCTD, we are red. We have a red range for
Oh,
boat
no.
power.
For what? You gotta.
No etro.
Copy. Ops 2, LC on countdown 1.
Go ahead, LC.
Yeah, are you ready to execute these black lines?
I do not have those steps, sir.
Okay. Can you take calls from LC, starting with initiate evacuation of fuel cavities? At the VIC utility power control tab, select VVP.
And you would like me to open VPP, correct? LC hold.
Victor Papa. Sorry,
Stand by.
LC hold, standing by.
Yeah, just stand. LC, this is LD. Just stand by for a second. We just had a red range call.
And Ops 1 and LCP advised, I'm going to go ahead and forward these steps to both of you again one more time. Stand by.
Ops 1 copies. Ops 2 copies.
We're still far enough out that if the range is red and it's something like a boat or a plane, they can deal with that.
And they just were sent forwarded to cabinets.
Copy. Received.
And CMD, LC on countdown 1. Are you go for step 404, transfer signals to launch mode?
The CMD in work.
They're still progressing with the count, though, with the steps in the count. So if they put Cygnus into launch mode, that means they're still thinking they can go.
And NASA TD, LC on countdown 1.
Yes, sir. We're working it. It's one of our participant boats. It had an engine failure and drifting. We're trying to see if we can work an issue now.
Okay, copy that. Be advised your launch time on the clock is still the previous T0.
Copy.
TD, we need to make it. This is LD. Can you meet me on mission director?
He was about to say we need to make a decision.
Yeah, I heard that. Now, at the press conference the other day, we were promised this time around no problems with planes or boats.
Well, yeah, that's if people cooperate.
And we have
Hold on.
entered our 5-minute hold.
We're 10 minutes away from the original T0 time, so this 5-minute hold is ongoing. We're scheduled to lift off at 5:27. That's been extended out to 5:32. And this will be the last attempt that WCPC can make at this launch of this rocket. We have responsibilities back home that we have to take care of. And then proceed on to launching for SLS, which is coming up this coming weekend, Saturday into Sunday the 13th and the 14th, just after midnight. So we have things going on. I suppose if it came midweek, we could do what we have to do, I suppose, and come down here. But we both have things to do on Friday, and I don't think we can line up enough people to cover all of that.
Believe me, I tried.
It would be interesting coming through Virginia. We'd have to come this way anyways on the way back through. And if we could grab a launch in between, but it would be in the middle of the night. And, you know, if it goes to next week, to Friday into Saturday, they'd be cutting it awfully close for trying to get to Florida from here. That's still an 18-hour drive, I would believe, from here. And that would be,
My brain hurts just thinking about that.
let's see. Let's do a little math here. I have our hotel plugged in, I think.
Mm-hmm.
We're still waiting to hear about the anomaly that they have working on the range. Apparently, there's something going on. They said something about engines. They're not getting. I don't think they're getting telemetry data from one of the devices, and the range also controls the potential. If there's an anomaly with the rocket in flight, they control the destruction of the rocket. So all their stuff has to be working properly.
This is CMD step 410. Cygnus is in launch mode and nominal.
Copy that, CMD. Check step 404.
So I mean, they're still proceeding with the count as if it was still a go.
And, we have great things in this payload, too. So we really want to get this up to the ISS. Always, because we can load the last 24 hours with this particular module, we have things like fresh fruit that are going up to the ISS, and a treat this time around, popsicles.
How quaint. So 13 hours from here.
LCTD, we're green.
Range is green.
LC copies.
LCS is LD, proceed.
Ops 2, initiate evacuation of fuel cavities.
In work. And opening VVP on my mark. 3, 2, 1, mark. 10, 20, 19.
So the range has been declared green. That was the last call you heard, and we're moving forward with the count. We'll be coming out of the hold in about a minute or two. If we come out of the hold, that's a good sign.
And once we do come out of the hold, nothing else can happen.
And MES-1 standing by for step 2.
You've just jinxed us, so you never say that.
No, I said nothing's going to happen.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
That you just jinxed us.
Yeah. I don't believe in that.
At this time, I'd like to proceed with final countdown poll. GSO.
GSO, go.
RSO.
RSO, go.
TD.
TD's go.
Prop lead. Leaders go. Stage 1.
Stage 1 is go.
MES-1.
MES-1 is go.
GCE.
GC is go.
ACE.
ACE is go.
Mars.
Mars is go.
CMD.
CMD, go.
LD.
LD is go.
NG.
Northrop Grumman is proud to honor a renowned NASA astronaut and the first American woman in space, Dr. Sally Ride. Sally was a true space pioneer and also a tireless advocate for improving STEM literacy for children, especially young girls. Sally has inspired millions of students, and her legacy through Sally Ride Science continues to have enormous positive impact on STEM education across the nation. During her spaceflight missions, Sally was known to spend her free time gazing down at Earth. Hence, it is an honor to return her legacy to space to once again enjoy the view as the SS Sally Ride and Northrop Grumman are go for launch.
Go to proceed with final countdown. MES-1, do we have status on step 2?
From the VIP area, we just heard a cheer go up.
MES-1, evacuation verified.
And Ops 2, terminate engine evacuation.
And VVP is closed. 10-22-41.
Why don't we take a look at the science on board
And Oscar 4, Ops 2, activate VZD.
while we're waiting for this?
And opening in standby 1.
We are confirmed.
Concur.
Taking a look at the pad from
Go.
And LC Site Control, GN2 conditioning initiated.
taking a look at the close-up and a little bit farther out view when we go to
And
launch.
activating BRG on my mark. 3, 2, 1, mark.
The close-up view will be
10:25:05.
manually controlled, and the faraway view will be automatic tracking, hopefully. Something new we're trying. And right now we're the only lights
And
on, so
GNC1 provides status of trajectory file for launch operation.
we are tracking all the bugs.
Are you ready for me to deactivate VCD?
LCGNC1
Go.
trajectory file is go. LCMES1 on countdown.
VCD closed.
Sorry, GNC1, you got stepped on.
LCGNC1, no trajectory file change is required. Trajectory file 1 is good.
So the only lights on right now
Copy that. 408 not required.
well, it's
409
on
not required.
are our little light here
TMD
that's
report status of Cygnus.
illuminating
BRG
me.
deactivated.
I'm thinking you probably don't need to be illuminated anymore.
Well,
LTCMD good.
yeah, because I need to be able to
Cygnus
see
good.
my keyboards and
Oh,
stuff.
shucks.
LCOps 2.
But that's fine.
Through Oscar 8 complete.
You're hearing the
that.
final steps. We are now
Great,
about
complete.
6 minutes from launch.
Ops 2, 405, initiate fuel inlet valve position override.
In work.
LC prop lead VTSO activation verified. 418.
Trying to see if I can
And
hear
auto
venting from
sequence
the rocker.
FIV position override selected.
And MES2, verify auto sequence fuel inlet valve position override status indicates active.
So we're less than we're about
Stand by.
just about 5 minutes away from launch here at Wallops Island.
And LC Site Control, step 421, AFA ECS transfer to GN2 confirmed.
Obviously, we've worked a few issues during the count, nothing that they couldn't overcome.
ACE LC on countdown 1.
Nothing
Go ahead,
unusual.
LC. Are 412 and 413 no longer required?
412 not required, 413 not required.
So they're going through
LC
steps in the
MES2.
checklist that if
Fuel inlet valve position override status confirmed.
so we're going through final checks in the countdown, the final steps. As you can see, it's a very complex
Copy 406
process.
complete. And
As-
prop lead, I got your call on 418.
We're over step
Ops 2 initialized ground ordnance power
400.
supplies.
Ground ordnance power supplies initialized.
We do have, a
Ground
beautiful,
ordnance power supplies nominal.
do have a beautiful view of the rocket here in person.
And 422 is not required.
Ops 2 copies.
And I'll get myself out here so we can see beautiful views of the rocket.
Ops 1, transfer avionics to internal power. And
The
work.
Antares 230 Plus is running Russian RD-181 engines. This will be the second to last
LC
mission.
Ops 1, avionics internal power on, and external power is off.
Second to last mission running
Elect
these
1,
engines,
report avionics internal power status.
as with the Ukrainian war and the Russian
Avionics
situation.
power is nominal.
The engines were supplied from the Ukraine, and
Ops 1, open FTS umbi loop.
LC Ops 1, FPS umbi loop opened in green.
it was decided that trying to get
FTOU and
these
FTS receiver indications are nominal.
engines would be very tough in the
Check
future.
steps through 426. Ops 1, send all arm command.
And this was known
LC Ops 1, all arm command sent.
quite some time before the launch started.
LC Elect 1, SNAs, ODMs, all armed. NASA TD, report range status.
Range is green.
And MES1, can you confirm engine priming status is verified?
Is verified.
Step 431 is not required. Phase 3 dynamic limits will be active at T-minus 3 minutes.
So we're proceeding on the count, getting to the engine status. Getting the engines from Ukraine wasn't going to be feasible anymore, even before the war started. So Northrop
And
Grumman,
launch team, despite regulators, alarm clocks, and desiccant dryers running amok, we are on schedule. FC commanded to flight mode.
all good calls.
Auto sequence startup.
And we're getting into flight mode here as well. Going forward, the new
Podium plus
version.
voltage and current nominal.
New version of Antares will be the 330 class, and it will involve Firefly Aerospace, which is developing a new engine to put 7 engines on the Antares to equal the thrust, and actually increase the overall thrust of the rocket. So in the future, they're moving from 8,000 kilograms
Switched in. GNC1 verify ready for nav mode.
to 10,000 kilograms.
Or nav ready for nav.
Ops 2 switched to nav. LC Ops 2 switched to nav.
Beyond that,
LC GNC1 orb nav telemetry verified.
Firefly
Check
and
test 438.
Northrop Grumman are working on a new medium-class rocket to be launched out of here.
T minus 2 minutes on my mark. Mark.
Under 2 minutes to launch. The new medium-class rocket has yet to be named. They're working on a contest in Northrop Grumman to name that rocket. And it will be flying more missions out of here, out of Wallops Island. It'll take advantage of all the infrastructure at the pad and the size at the pad as well. That was a big important thing in the
T
design
minus
of the new
1
rocket.
minute, 30 seconds.
1:30 to go, as you hear.
T minus 1 minute. T minus 30 seconds. Godspeed, Doug Harvey. T minus 10. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Engine ignition.
And we have liftoff of the Antares NG-18 launch vehicle from Wallops Flight Facility.
Telemetry to open loop.
Engines at 100%. Attitude is not. Power remains nominal. Passing through 50,000 feet. Attitude remains nominal. Passing through 5,000 feet per second. Core pressurization valves continue to function as expected. Engines remain nominal, 100% thrust. Approximately 100 seconds to MECO. Passing through 100,000 feet. power remains nominal.
And we've lost sight of the rocket here. We're here still hearing the call-outs.
Core pressurization system is nominal. Vehicle attitude remains nominal. Nominal attitude. Core pressurization valves continue to function normally. We have begun slow throttle down. Vehicle attitude remains nominal. Engine now at 55% thrust. And main engine cutoff. Stage 1 separation. Storm is activated and the ACC gas is enabled. Good engine performance on stage 1. Stage 2 ignition in approximately 10 seconds. We have fairing separation. Motor cone separation.
Sometimes from this location you can see the second stage burn, but it doesn't look like we're going to be able to see that today.
Nominal attitude.
But 8,200 kilograms of cargo are on their way to the International Space Station.
Stage 2 Castor 30 XL motor will burn for approximately 2.5 minutes.
Stage 2 ignition has been successful.
Attitude remains nominal. Stage 2 TVC is nominal. Electrical power remains nominal. Attitude is nominal.
You're going to attempt to pull up the NASA TV feed now for you.
Stage 2 chamber pressure is good and attitude remains nominal.
And LCA is cycle on countdown 2.
OLCA.
And Mark
Stage
is
2
asking you to go
TVC,
ahead and
nominal,
proceed to
nominal
step
power.
451 and stop the GN2 supply for the ECS.
Attitude remains nominal.
That's a firm.
All right, so you're okay if I go ahead and proceed with that?
A firm.
As we look at stage 2 burn on NASA TV, we see a nominal trajectory.
Approximately 60 seconds remaining in stage 2 burn.
Now, the big thing about the stage 2 burn on this is once they light that Castor engine, it is a solid fuel motor, and it will burn until it's complete.
Vehicle attitude remains nominal through stage 2 burn.
Things we learned, Ken.
Stage 2 TVC is
And at this point, you can see some vehicles driving out to the pad.
Not this early.
To the left.
Yeah, they're only at the first waypoint.
Yeah. They're on their way.
But things we learned, you cannot control this camera with a mouse. I switched over to your shot. It was very tough trying to control that. I had it going for the first couple seconds, but then it decided to do its own thing.
Yeah, I did my best with my shot. The problem I have
looked
is,
pretty good.
payload
you know,
separation.
when you zoom in so close, then
We have good insertion.
then you get the
Terry,
shaky.
Currently in orbit.
So we had a
Those
good
are approximately 100 seconds prior to payload separation.
we had a good call out for stage 2 burnout and insertion. NASA TV feeds a little bit behind. But the call out here was for good orbital insertion. That means they've achieved the proper orbit. NASA TV is now showing that burnout.
Terry's power remains nominal during this coast.
And we're going to go until they separate the Cygnus payload, the Cygnus module, and then we'll finish our broadcast. But we're taking a look at the NASA feed. They have telemetry from Northrop Grumman, showing the second stage still attached and thrusters firing to line it up into the proper orbit.
Approximately 60 seconds from payload separation. Vehicle attitude remains nominal.
And that was a pretty launch.
Yeah, I would agree with that.
Power remains nominal.
If you want to, you can start discontinuing the remote cameras if you want to.
Vehicle attitude is
Or
nominal.
you want to do it all at once? Up to you. You can stay on headset
Power
if you
remains
want to. Looking at the thrusters firing, lining up that red line with the yellow line, which means that they're on perfect attitude.
Terry's remains nominal.
Showing the trajectory of Antares after a successful liftoff at the end of the window here this morning at Wallops Island. The pad is now clear, and some of the post-launch vehicles are at the staging point. I know they were venting down at the tank farm, meaning that anything left in the lines was being vented. And that is a successful sign that the rocket got off on time. Ken did a great job covering it. I learned a lot. And just waiting on the separation, which is happening now on NASA TV. So the second stage is separated from the Cygnus. And now the Cygnus will begin its 40-hour journey to the International Space Station with cargo and some treats for the astronauts on this flight. As the second stage pulls away and begins its mission to deorbit. Cygnus has pulled out, and we now see the control center. And for us, that'll conclude our coverage here in WCPC, the launch of NG-18. We'll be back again in a couple of days for a launch in Florida this time of the SLS rocket. So join us for that. That'll be just after midnight, I believe at 19 past the hour past midnight, with a 90-minute window that begins just after midnight and launch and last well into early in the evening. Thank you guys for joining us here on WCPC and Southwick Community Programming, as well as Agawam Community Programming. And we'll see you again next time around.